Welcome to Complex Humanity. My name is Danny Van Billy, and I am your host as we journey into investigating whether our heroes are human just like us. Today on the hot seat, we have Tanya Furi. She's not only a mother of three, a lovely wife, but she is also one of the most amazing dancers you'll meet. I know this because I dance with her. I can't dance, guys, to save my life. Tanya.
Yes, Dan.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
No, thank you for being here. Can I dance with you guys sometime?
Always. To be honest, Danny, you actually did dance with me with your daughter once.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
It was a daddy-daughter dance.
Oh, man.
Do
Guys,
you
I can
remember
dance.
that?
I
think
remember
I've
that.
got that footage for you.
Oh, wow.
I should share and care.
I would love to have that. When I think of ballet,
Yes.
which is what you are known for.
Yes.
But you're not just a ballerina, right?
No, definitely not. Yes.
What are all the dances you do?
So,
just for those listening.
If we go back into the history, my passion was ballet, and obviously I was diagnosed with something which I can share a bit later.
Right.
I couldn't pursue ballet professionally 100% full-heartedly. I had to make a change over between the genres, and then I went over to musical theatre, which then embodies jazz, lyrical, contemporary, hip-hop, even ballroom, any style, and obviously all the Broadway musical styles, singing, dancing, acting, all of that together. So I had to almost reinvent myself at the age of 17 when I realized that, I want to do it professionally, but I'm causing more harm to myself by pushing and forcing into a genre which was obviously for my health not very good. So,
wow.
Yes.
That's actually such an amazing way to open up, because when we look at you now,
Yes.
you are the dancer. You were recently in a music video, I believe, Macy van die Plaats.
Amper.
Or die Staat.
Van die Staat.
Van die Staat.
Yes.
But they were calling you back to the Plaats.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. It was actually a song written by my husband to his friend. The artist is Richard. He goes by Richard Richter. He is a very good friend of ours, and he's an amazing musician. And so my husband writes songs for him from a friend perspective, and then they actually took that, and then they asked me to be in the music video, which was quite profound. Wow. Because it's a little bit...
Obviously, he wrote for the Macy that he ended up marrying.
Absolutely. It's our life story. It is our life story. And even the music video is our life story. So it's quite sentimental. And I must say it was the first time I put on Pointe shoes in a very long time. Oh. And I had more respect for my dancers afterwards. I even sent them a message and said, guys, no wonder your feet are cramping. I was in Pointe shoes from the morning at 9 until the afternoon, and I could feel it. So
when I look at those shoes, okay, right. As a man,
yes,
of my size and built.
Okay.
I've had respect for you guys forever.
You know what? It's easier than you think, obviously. And obviously, if you build it up and if it's part of your DNA, because if you do ballet, it's part of your DNA. And they start very young, usually at the age of around 11, 12, all depending on who you are as a dancer. It really is part of your DNA, and it actually is easy. But I must be honest, like I've mentioned, it was sore. I'm not going to lie. I could feel it.
As you're speaking, in my mind, it's like, Danny, do not listen to her. You might just be tempted.
I might give you a point lesson one day.
No, thank you. As we talk about how it started.
Yes.
Okay. I read that you started at the age of 4.
Yes, indeed.
Can we go back there?
Yes. So I'm the youngest of 3 sibs.
Okay.
And I really idolized my older sister, Yolandri, and she was a dancer. She, in the end, went into acting rather. But she was a beautiful dancer. So I really looked up to her. So anything my sibs did, I did. That's just the thing with the youngest, right?
Yeah, the youngest trying to keep up.
But to be or outlive them, I don't know. Like, you want to prove a point. I've always had that bit of a competitive, thing in me. So she started. I also started, but I started with modern dancing because of my birth defect. So I was diagnosed with hip dysplasia when I was born, which means your hips are inverted. So it is quite it could be operated on. My parents chose against it. And the doctor said through exercise, so swimming, bicycle, I will not be walking inwardly anymore. So I was walking inwardly with my feet. And then through many hours of swimming, and then especially with my bicycle, I've got a very nice story about my granddad helping me to ride a bike here in Park under the oak tree, and I fell, and he was actually the one that taught me to never give up, because I'll fall and I'll be bruised and there will be blood, and he'll clean it up, put me on the lap and say, just breathe a little bit and we go again and again and again and again. And that was taught early on in my life, to never give up. It's not about how hard you fall, but how quickly you get up.
But how do you believe that you'd be a dancer when you're born with a birth defect that has to do with your legs?
I really think it was supposed to be my testimony, which I'm sharing with you now. And there was a time in COVID that I did a few interviews as well, and it really did touch a lot of people's hearts. And even in my studio currently, I actually have 2 pupils also with the same birth defect. And it's really profound, and I can relate to the pain that they're going through. I think the part that nobody expected was me wanting to do ballet, because now if you think about it, inward to outward rotation is next level. And it was severe pain. I remember pain my whole life. And then in 2017, I had both my hip operations because of the fact that I couldn't continue any longer as an adult, and I've already had my kids. So it was a very difficult health year for me. My kidneys gave up, all of that because of the medications and everything. Long story short, I'm more than okay now. I've got compassion for anybody that doesn't have a natural physique for dancing, a real heart for it. And I turned to musical theatre at the age of 17. I was in severe pain. I was in the ballet academy at Hoërskool. And I really had a love for ballet. Ballet was my first love, really. So it was hard to change, but you have to make choices, and hard choices in life. And that was the hardest choice for me to make, because I could see myself in the company and I wanted to go to the Royal Ballet. And I did end up going to the United Kingdom. I did perform in the West End right next to the Royal Ballet. So a little bit of irony over there. So a bittersweet moment. And currently I am actually really working in the ballet environment and actually connecting with people in the Royal Ballet. So the Lord is great and faithful, and his timing is way better, because the connections that I'm making now is not for me, it's for the next generation. So for me, that's my calling.
If I can go back to the child Tanya,
yes,
who did not know where her dancing would end up being one day.
Yes.
What made you still continue dancing? What about that stage told you to not give up?
I honestly think the first person was obviously my granddad. I adored him very, very much. But both my parents believed in hard work. It's like the motto of my family. Which in the one sense is great, but on the other sense can go a little bit towards workaholic, and, you never stop. So you always want to reinvent yourself. You always want to strive for more and do better. But to give up was never an option. And I know it sounds strange, but that was just the way I was brought up. you know, if I say this, I'm going to open up a little bit of myself. But my dad had a motto, and it's not by putting him in a bad light, but he had a motto of saying, "Winning isn't everything; it's the only thing."
Oh wow!
So that's a bit rough. It's a bit rough,
So
but
there wasn't a choice.
But to put in perspective, what he did do is he created all three of us girls to be extremely hard workers. So all my sips. Both my sisters are phenomenal women, but they can work. Wow. And they never give up. And I do think it's part of my heritage. It's the way my family brought us up. So I think it was never an option to give up. Literally, it was never a choice. I could never say, you know what, this is not working for me. Let me move on to something else. And I think for that, I have a problem when people do that, when they want to take the easy option out. You need to make sure that it's not just you not wanting to work hard and put in the effort, because success is not from talent. And if you go on my Instagram, you'll see I always put that. It's not about talent. Because yes, maybe I did have some talent, but the one thing I had was perseverance, commitment, and giving up was never an option. And until this day also, for my pupils, for anybody, you don't quit. You're not a quitter. You have to keep pushing.
Would you say that maybe also being put at a disadvantage meant you knew you had to work harder?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think if you actually look at all these famous people, you know, and without having to name names.
Like Tanya Furi.
So much love. No, so if you look at the people that are greatly successful, it's usually people that didn't have it easy, whether it is their upbringing, whether it's from which neighborhood they came from, whether it was a birth defect like mine, whether it was circumstances. The people that are highly successful are the people that didn't get it on a gold platter, that wasn't fed with the golden spoon. And I am an advocate for that, because I believe hard work is the only way. It's not supposed to come easy. I don't understand that. It's amazing if people get things easily, if people get things on their lap, that's amazing. I'm happy for them. I'm really happy for them. But I love the fact that I love to work. I love the fact that I am a hard worker. And I do believe that I don't just teach it to my pupils that I teach, but also to my children. If I look at my 3 kiddos, they know what is work. They do know it. And they're helpers in the house. And they, all 3 in their own sense of being, know that they need to put in the effort. And it's sometimes to your detriment. There's days that I'm exhausted and you're tired because you're going and going and you're going at probably too fast of a race. But then you get my husband, who is the person that brings us back to peace. And he says, there's a day of rest, my beautiful wife, put off your phone. You have to breathe. So Cora is our reminder to actually breathe, because if I didn't have him, I probably would be chasing. I probably would be chasing all over the world. And he is the person why I am in South Africa. I met him, and I actually had a contract to go back to the West End to be a lead role, by the way. And I met him, and I realized that I'm at a point, and I was still very young. I was only 25.
Is this when you met your husband?
Yeah, met my husband, Cornet. And
Wait. You'd left the country.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Okay, so I left the country at the age of 17, 18. Okay. I got a scholarship at Lane Theatre Arts, which is in Epsom, London, to study musical theatre, which was quite rare because at that time, you didn't have a lot of kids that traveled overseas to study, and definitely no kids received from other countries scholarships. But again, we went, and my parents were amazing because they actually took me for a live audition, which I also think was the difference. Okay. And I was there, and I think they saw the passion and the heart. And then I went over, I studied musical theatre, got my musical theatre degree, my acting degree, and because of who I am, I was working in a pub, and I did my teachers in 4 different styles. and I got my 2 degrees, and then I was working part-time in quite a few corporates because
Wow.
that's what I did. I was used to doing a lot. And I had to, look after myself that side. So it was amazing. It was a hard lesson because you come from your household, but we did a lot in the house, so it wasn't strange for me to do my washing or my dishes or cook. And I lived my life that side. So after that, I got my jobs.
How long were you there for?
I was there for 8 years.
For 8 years.
Is it 8 years? Yeah, it was 8 years. 7, 8 years. And I finished my degree. Then my first audition, which I know is ironic, but I got it, which is amazing. And that doesn't happen. Remember, you audition a lot usually.
Wow.
But the Lord, I kind of felt that the Lord wanted to fast forward my life.
Yeah.
Because I had
Were
this
you a
dream.
Christian at this time?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm born in a very amazing household, right?
Yeah.
I was baptized when I was grade 12. We are worshippers. We're charismatic. My grandpa is a pastor. So it was a beautiful household that I grew up in. Really, honestly, I can testify of that. However, I did
There
lose.
has to be an however.
However, I lost the plot. I did.
Sure.
I really did. Because
So
I think...
at what age did you move away from the Lord?
I would say London. London. Beautiful London.
London is problematic.
London. Yes. Yes, definitely London. The beginning phase of London, I was in a relationship with a boy from my high school sweetheart.
It's always us.
Yeah, so he was
us.
this side and I was that side. And that actually grounded me. It was actually good. So good for him,
Okay.
right? It grounded me. But then as soon as I got work in the industry, you get exposed to a lot of things, unfortunately. And then I lost the plot, most definitely.
Is this why you do things the way you do in your school?
Yes.
Because from what I've understood, Leap for Joy.
Yes.
That's where you are the founder
Yes.
and the principal.
Yes, I am.
Okay. I've seen how your children dress, how they carry themselves.
Yeah.
I've overheard them praying during their sessions. Where is that coming from?
It's to try and teach the next generation to not make my mistakes.
Okay.
To be in the arts, unfortunately, you become a vessel and a product, unfortunately. And I am an extrovert and I am bubbly and I was a social butterfly since I can remember. But it was in a safe environment when I was in South Africa. When you're there and you're alone, remember, there's no parents there, there's no eyes there, there's no auntie, uncle. I had no family there. I was standing on my own 2 feet. I made tremendous mistakes. And I really want to teach the next generation that their bodies are a temple and that the Holy Spirit is within them, and would they feel comfortable by exposing themselves, whether it is the way they dress, the way they talk, what movements they do, what music choices they make. I really hope in my whole heart that I can at least be that seed that they plant, because I can't make the decisions for them. But obviously when they're young still, they like sponges, they take it in. And many of the kids that have grown through the hands of me since I've been back, either it's like a sponge and that purity goes through all the way, which is amazing. And I've got testimony of a girl now in Malaysia. She's doing a world ministry tour. She is just, wow. She listened. That's beautiful. And then you get kids that walk the walk, Christian family, and then had to learn as well for themselves.
Yes.
But what's lovely is that they know that there's no judgment and they can come back, and they always come back. And that is beautiful for me.
I'm hearing 2 things in your
Yes.
story, okay? I'm hearing someone where the foundation was right.
Yes.
At some point, you went and discovered
I did.
prodigal daughter.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And then at some point, you come back. must it be that way for everyone?
No.
For the parents who are listening, and some of the churches I found tend to not really embrace dance.
No, for sure.
They think, it's like someone like me. I did Christian hip hop.
Okay.
And for those who know, hip hop is just attached to, the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was very hard for us to let church settings accept that we can actually put the gospel in here.
Absolutely.
How have you dealt with that messaging to the church that, these two can actually go hand in hand?
It's still a work in progress, if I be honest. There's seasons where there's some of the churches that's very open for it, and we as a company studio gets invited to worship a lot, and we do minister at quite a few churches that is more open to dance as a means of worship. So it's called ministry through dance. So it's wonderful. However, in that setting, you have to be so careful of movements, of clothing, of how you present yourself, because they can be somebody in the audience that can take offense. We even went to the ICEJ and we were dancing in front of some Jewish people, and they took great offense with the way we showed the Holy Spirit and the anointing. I was faced with it. I was dancing, and the whole front row was Jewish men, and I love our brothers, right? But they literally had to look away. I was ministering, and they had to turn their heads away because that is what they've been taught. Okay. So, I think it will forever be a battle. I don't think people can have a true opinion about it until they're actually in a studio environment when they see it's done differently. But it's also not just my studio. There's quite a few studios super passionate about the Lord that wants to do it right. And we have this heart to change the arts. And that is my heart. My heart is to do it in excellence, because the Father expects of us to do everything in excellence. But secondly, to change the arts for Father. And that is not just dancing. It's not just worship, but it's all of the arts. I know of so many presenters that is so passionate about the Lord. I know we need to be sensitive in what we bring out to the world. But we can change this world for Him, because that's what we're supposed to do. And that, I feel, is my biggest calling, is to first change the hearts of our dancers, to let them be light. So then you send them out in the world. So can you imagine just by sending 20 dancers out? And I've at the moment got somebody in Junior Antwerpen company. I've got kids in Milan. We've got kids. I've got somebody in America. I've got this other girl in Malaysia. These are lights that went through Leap for Joy. Yes. Now they take that light to the darkness in the world and they go impact. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Make disciples?
No, I think it is. And if I can maybe play devil's advocate.
Yes, I'm ready.
There are parents who, maybe because of age and generation, will look at even your life story,
yes,
and say, you see, she got lost.
Yes.
I don't want that for my child. Or they can misunderstand something as simple as the attire.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is conversations which I found myself having with different parents.
Yeah.
Now, what do you say to that parent? How do you communicate?
Oh, boy. That's probably my daily challenge, is how do I communicate with parents? And I say it with the most, kindness in my heart. It's a battle. To work with people is not easy, because you don't always understand their background, right? So somebody comes to you and attacks you and say, but you put my daughter in this costume.
Yes.
And you go, you're right, I did, 100% correct. But what is the problem? But then you don't understand what was their background, where's their hurt stemming from, right? So instead of going to I'm gonna defend myself and pretend like I'm the person in the right the whole time, because you're not. You can make mistakes. And I can testify that even though since I've walked this journey to try and impact and do it differently, I've made mistakes without a doubt. And I'm not scared to say that I've made it. Yeah. I think it's easier because I've had many mistakes before. It's easier if you are a broken vessel that the Father is putting back together, and He's still making me a masterpiece. I'm far from perfect. Oh boy, I make daily mistakes. I can take ownership and I can say to them, I hear your perspective and I hear you, and tell me what is bothering you. Tell me, how can we fix this? How can I help you to do this better? Or how can I help you in your environment or for your daughter to do it differently? But then also at some point, you're going to offend people and they're going to take offense and they're going to think you're ungodly or unrighteous or you're pretending, and they're going to move on. And then you can only pray and ask the Lord that one day that they will see that your intention was good. You might have made a mistake by a costume or a music choice, or if you were too strict backstage with a dancer because you wanted them to dance in excellence and you're under stress, and because I'm only human.
Yeah.
So I think it's a continual journey, and I don't think I'll ever have it down to a T, even until the day I die.
And then if we take the focus from the parents,
yes,
to the students.
Yes.
Okay.
My favorites.
I'm a young person. I want to dance.
Yes.
And I'm looking at a church that doesn't necessarily make space for me.
Yes.
Or for what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
How do I push through that? You know, I'm seeing a Tanya.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I want to go to Leap for Joy.
Yes.
Or maybe I'm too far. Mm-hmm. You know, how do I not give up on that dream?
They should never give up. I think, unfortunately, not all church structures are open, as mentioned before, for dancing. But there is so many dance schools out there. So if they ever need a reference, and if I am too far, please just go on my Instagram or socials or whatever you need to, reach out and I can direct you. And I've had many people reaching out and say, you know what, Tanya, you're in Pretoria East. It's way too far for us. But I also have people driving all the way from Hartbeespoort and Johannesburg, and I do Zoom classes. So things has changed and it's more accessible, most definitely. But if they have a passion for the Lord and they have passion for dancing, please don't give up, because we need you. We need you to make a difference in this world, because the arts needs the light. And for that, I will forever be an advocate.
Would you say, Tanya, that dancers have a bigger opportunity now to connect with a broader audience? You know how you said, you know, in your case,
yes,
you had parents who could actually take you overseas, yes, and you could. Has things changed with technology that allows for better opportunities for dancers that are coming up?
Absolutely. And I do actually think the dancers in South Africa is phenomenal. So we've had the blessing of going to many world championships. And when we are there, not just Leap for Joy, but South African dancers are on the podium all the time. Wow. And when they're there, they connect with dancers. But more than that, there is other companies like my one that I've started with Esther Nasser called Dance Narrative. We are connecting with the international platform to give these dancers opportunities to be able to go dance overseas, to connect overseas. I think with all of these big social platforms that they have, they're able to connect. They can go and audition. They have all these opportunities, which we really didn't have. I mean, Facebook didn't even exist when I went over to London. There was no Facebook by the time I went. So they're very blessed. And it's amazing to see their interaction with international dancers and choreographers and teachers. It's really profound to witness what these dancers are capable of by connecting, the connectiveness that they have across the board internationally is profound compared to what we had.
So you just mentioned, is this Dance Narrative?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm listening now from the Northwest somewhere.
Yay.
And I'm thinking, okay, dance narrative.
Yes.
What do I do? How do I connect? I
Yes.
want to be international.
Yes.
I'm a dancer. I'm passionate.
Yes.
Maybe I'm in Cape Town.
Yes.
Do you guys cater for them?
Absolutely. So we have workshops throughout the year, and we are planning for 2026 to start traveling to Durban, to Cape Town, everywhere to do the workshops. And then we have started now a new competition called Grand National, which is 16 to 18 July.
Okay.
And that competition will be judged the first year with local masters in the field. Wow. And then they will award awards. And these awards are big, proper awards. These are summer schools. These are opportunities to get linked and connected to international teachers, international artists. Even at our last workshop, we had a drama studio from London that two of our pupils won a one-on-one class with this teacher. Wow. They based that side. Camille Brasher is an ex-Royal Ballet principal dancer that is on our faculty. So we work with the best, and we are able to connect. And I do know that there is some other masters also in South Africa in the dance world that's also able. There's loads more opportunities. And we do see a lot of success stories of our South African dancers going overseas.
So a child from Soweto.
Yes.
Who's like, okay, I don't have a family
Yes.
that's involved in dance.
Yeah.
They're hearing you throwing out these things and they're like, what's a master?
Good question, though.
How do I get involved? What do you say to them?
I think the biggest thing is for these dancers to be willing to be brave enough to reach out.
Okay.
Even if it's not via our platform, because it might be more classically based and they might want hip hop. We are all interconnected. And especially when we are interconnected, I feel like the interconnection of the light of the arts are all very much connected. And like at the top of my head, I've got two amazing hip hop fanatics that are able to hook you up. So if you need any information, reach out. And like I said, I'm a busy bee. I will always reply. I will always try and connect you with the right people. I do believe that as a body of Christ, we all need to help one another and support one another. But there is so many opportunities, and especially that things has evolved so much with technology. Yeah. It's so much easier, and it's doable. It's not with, in the old days, it was 1 in a million that gets an opportunity. And I felt like that person when I went over to London. I felt, why me, Lord? Like, it was so strange for a South African to go and then having and receiving so much success. Yeah. But now there's so many success stories. So It is more than possible. They just firstly need to believe it, make sure that it's part of their calling and their purpose, but then be brave enough to reach out. And, we're relatable. I'm a human. I love the youth. I love the next generation because they're going to be way more impactful than we ever was or am, or however you want to put it.
What I've been loving because I follow your work, I see what you do, and there was a time where Tanya was for Leap for Joy.
Yes.
And what was said about that was the level of exposure you've had in your career was only limited to your dance school.
Yes.
And what I'm seeing happening now is it's almost like you are bringing that access to the rest of South Africa.
Yes.
You're saying, listen, and I mean, in one of your courses last year, I think there were students from Mozambique.
Yes.
Yeah, and Namibia.
We just had, yes.
The media guy. I was investigating and speaking to people. So I'm like, it's so important for them to come and have exposure.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes you're talented, but you don't even know what's available for you.
Yes.
And if in the past, only Leap for Joy people, And I'm talking, I'm sure there's someone listening and thinking, yeah, but Danny, we also connected. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying even if you are also connected, but it's only for your dance school,
Yes.
then South Africa as a whole does not
Yes.
benefit.
No, absolutely.
You know, and now there seems to be more platforms
Yes.
for other. What are these platforms?
Okay, so we with Dance Narrative, which I've mentioned before, our slogan is bringing community and dance together, meaning it's for the whole community of dance.
Awesome.
So it's
So this
really
isn't Leap for Joy.
It's not, and it's
Okay.
really hard to get that out there. But I try. It's hard because Leap for Joy has been, and I've been blessed because it's been a pillar, and
No,
we've
it's
done
been
well.
a pillar.
We've
You've
done
won
well.
lots of international. Can you mention those awards?
Oh yes.
For all my people watching at home, okay? Tanya, what awards have you guys
No,
gotten?
we've got literally multiple world championships, and,
Okay.
and that is at Dance World Cup, at IDO, at WLDF, and ADA. We've literally, I feel humbled because you don't want to brag, right?
Yeah.
We're not supposed to brag, but we have been at the studio extremely blessed with phenomenal results.
But I'm bringing this up for a reason.
Yes.
You are in the position where if I was you,
Yes.
I would say I'm keeping this for my school.
I know.
You know,
I know.
will hoard
I
the
know.
connections.
Yes.
You know, but that's not your heart.
No.
If you're doing this, and I've seen the mentality between different schools.
Yes.
Where people are thinking, I'm not gonna take my dancers there.
Yes.
What if she's there to hoard them? No, you've done it.
Yes.
You know, the in fact, if that was your heart, it would have been better for you to
Absolutely.
stick to yourself.
Absolutely. And I think with Dance Narrative, and I saw with our last workshop, we've had so many more studios seeing that is the heart.
Okay.
I believe trust is built over time. So I'm very patient. I'm
Okay.
very patient. I always giggle because my co-director, Esther Nasser, which is an absolute legend in the dance environment, ex-CEO from Joburg Ballet. She's got a whole resume, which I should probably have read. I'm sorry, Esther, if you're watching. But she wanted it to boom immediately. And I said to her, it will, but have patience because trust is built, because people need to realize that we want to give this opportunity to everybody. It's not studio related, and it's hard because my face was absolutely to Leap for Joy. My face was on Leap for Joy. So I was known as Tanya Furi from Leap for Joy. When now I've given over slightly more the reins, which is hard for me because I like to control things, to my two amazing teachers, Melissa and Yaditya, and they're really running the race of Leap for Joy with me. So Leap for Joy has for long gone not been just Tanya. We're a team. And that is very important to me because I don't want people to think Leap for Joy is just Tanya because it's not the truth. So that happened, and because of that happening, I had a little bit more time, and it's a divine connection that was made, and it's actually crazy to think about how we got connected, me and Esther, and we got connected, and she had a vision to bring opportunities to dancers in South Africa, but it needs to be like a neutral space. It needs to be for everybody. And I was willing to walk this walk with her. And it's been an amazing journey. It's only our second year and it's going really, really well. And like I said, we've got our first competition coming up. We've just had our third workshop. We have another workshop at the end of the year. And it's open to everybody, meaning every single dance studio in South Africa can come. We had the people from Durban at this previous one. We had the people from Mozambique. We had the people from Namibia. So we've been very blessed with that. So,
and I think it's sad if there's any dance studio who's listening and your students are missing out on opportunities to connect internationally.
Yes.
You know, the organizers are not your hoarding.
No.
And instead, the heart is different.
Yes.
The heart is different. Which probably brings me to my next question.
Yes.
I've seen something, South African
Body of dance.
body of dance.
Yes. Okay.
Established 19...
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I wasn't born.
Yeah. No.
Should
Absolutely.
I say 19 Van Riebeck?
So SABOD, as it's known in the dance industry, is amazing. But I am only the competition head there. So they've got their ownerships and their president and vice president, and they have a few aspects of South African body of dance. They've got the examining aside from it. I am heading the competition, and this is also my second year. It's amazing because the Lord gave me these two new ventures in the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
And I said, Lord, I don't have the time. I don't have the time.
That's when the Lord's like,
and he said,
I
yes,
own
you
time.
do. Yes, you do. So it's been an honor and a privilege to do it. It's also an organization that gives the platform for these dancers to get their provincial colors.
Wow.
And then their national Protea colors. So it's an incredible organization. And I do believe that it's an amazing platform for dancers to qualify. It's got all of the aspects from novice, amateur, championship to WTC, which is World Trial Circuit. World Trial Circuit is the only ones that can qualify for their provincials. Then they have to go through 2 competitions at least at different qualifiers. Then they go to nationals, and then after nationals, which is 1 to 3 August, the team is selected, and then they can go to the IDO World Championships, in all the different genres. And they have all the street dance styles, they have all the performing arts styles, so have all of that. And that is an amazing organization. I'm the head of competition there. And again, just head of competition. It's nothing to do with Leap for Joy.
Yeah.
It's in Tanya Furi's capacity. And it's the same with dance narrative. Do Leap for Joy use dance narrative? Most definitely, because it's open.
Yeah. It's for every
and do
studio
we
to be
enter
in.
Sabod? Most definitely. I support the competition that I'm heading because that's so important. We want the studios to support it. And I know how important it is for schools, for these dancers to get their provincials, because a lot of schools, unfortunately, only give recognition for arts if it's provincial. So it's actually a must. So actually, if your school is difficult, love the schools, difficult, know that you should actually enter Sabod because it gives provincial colors, and it's with SASCOC, and it's got all the perfect naming and the wording, which the president and vice president knows perfect wordings. But it's an honor to be able to do it. We've just finished our street dance one, and we have our upcoming Gauteng provincial.
You're still with us on Complex Humanity. Tanya Furi has been our guest, and Tanya, I think your story is just so amazing. You didn't have the best start. You could have given up from the start. You could have chosen a different path and said, hey, look, I'm not the one to be a dancer. But you fought through that. And I'm seeing a world today where when our young people have tough circumstances, they are told to not push through.
Yeah.
You know, we've even made the passing rate lower. We're just saying, hey, you know, we understand things are hard for you, but you didn't choose that. You chose to fight, and today you've got the results of standing up and taking the hard route. What do you say to a girl? Now, I'm talking, there's someone listening from a dorpy somewhere.
Yeah.
You know? They think the city is this big thing and they'll never get there. And then at the same time, maybe someone in Kailicha who's also looking at the environment and things are tough. And I'm taking the toughness of the environment and I'm saying, for you, it was physical.
Yes.
You know?
Definitely.
But it's a fight.
Yes.
They have to fight. You had to fight. Talk to them.
Okay.
What do you say to them?
I think first and foremost is to choose something in life. So you choose life or you choose death. And I have this inner fight within me because I choose joy every day. I see life as a glass half full moment. If we look to our circumstances, whether it is your physical, emotional, your physical environment, you will always have things that can pull you down. There will always be negativity. But what do you choose? What do you choose to see? And are you going to change your mindset by choosing life, or are you going to choose death? Are you going to choose the glass half empty methodology? What are you choosing? And my encouragement for you would be today, choose joy and choose that life is a glass half full moment, and never ever give up, because there is somebody, whether you believe it or not, that is looking up to you. Whether it is a cousin or a friend at school, somebody is looking at you and you are inspiring them. So for them, don't give up. For that little one out there looking at you, never, ever, ever give up. Push through and know that you're never alone. You always have God on your side. You always have the Holy Spirit with you. You are never alone. Keep going.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, Tanya. And how do we get hold of you finally?
All right.
So I want Dance Narrative, Leap for Joy, Sabod, right?
Okay, yes. So
what do I do? What's the steps?
So I think the easiest part is Instagram. I am on Instagram as Tanya Furi. You'll find a photo of me and my husband on there to follow. We've got Leap for Joy Dance Studios also on Instagram. We have Dance Narrative on Instagram, and we have Sabod and Sabod 12 on Instagram. We're also on TikTok for Dance Narrative. We are actually opening TikTok for Leap for Joy Dance Studios as well. Perfect. So that's coming up. We do have some Facebook as well for Sabod, not for the other platforms. And then you can contact me even on my WhatsApp. I don't mind, on 076 451 9545. I really don't mind. I'm here to help, and that is my motto. I want to help the next generation to follow their purpose and calling. And again, like I've said, never give up and choose joy.
Wow. Thank you so much, Tanya, for being with us on Complex Humanity. As someone who's watched you, I remember Leap for Joy starting, and it was just a dream.
Yes.
You wanted to give back, and to see how you've given back to our students, those who are abroad, those who've won competitions, to see you traveling, and you've become a mother to many, including my own daughter. Yeah. I want to say thank you so much. May the Lord keep you. May you live long. May you live long.
Yes, amen.
Amen. And may you touch many lives.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
Awesome. And to all of our listeners, see you again. Tell someone about this interview. If you know a dancer who's probably thinking, what do I do with my career? Where do I go? I think this would be an amazing starting point. Daddy Van Billy, see you again on Complex Humanity.